Welcome to this explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to guide you through this fascinating subject today. We're going to look at the foundational concepts of how our society, and honestly everyone in it, manages limited resources. Now, it might sound highly academic, and yes, it is a fundamental university-level topic, but as you'll see, it's also incredibly practical. It's relevant to literally every single choice you make in a day. So let's get right into it.
Here is our roadmap for the session. We have a clear, structured journey ahead. First, the study of economics. Second, macro versus microeconomics. Third, the problem of scarcity. And finally, trade-offs and opportunity costs.
Section 1. The study of economics, managing what we have.
Okay, let's dive into this foundational definition. Economics is formally defined as the study of how society manages its scarce resources. But what does that actually mean for us? Well, it means we're focusing on the deliberate choices made regarding the production, distribution, and consumption of goods and services. Think of it as an analytical lens. We use it to view the decisions that individuals, businesses, governments, and entire nations make simply to allocate what they have. It's really not just about money, it's all about management and allocation.
Section 2. Macro versus microeconomics, the two branches.
Now that we understand what economics fundamentally is, let's split this massive field into its two main branches. The easiest way to grasp this is just by looking at the scope of the study. On one side, we have macroeconomics. This is the big picture, right? It focuses on the behavior of an entire economy, looking at aggregate demand, aggregate supply, those massive national issues like inflation, unemployment, and government fiscal policy. On the other side is microeconomics. This branch zooms way in. It focuses on individual markets, households, and specific businesses. It looks at the individual supply and demand equations that determine prices and quantities in single, isolated markets.
To really picture this contrast, imagine holding the entire globe in your hands. That's macroeconomics. It's looking at the world, nations, and massive aggregate systems. Now imagine zooming all the way down into a single factory, a specific firm, and most importantly, individual people. That's microeconomics. Micro studies the hiring practices, the individual wage settings, and the specific day-to-day choices of households.
But hey, here is a critical caveat to keep in mind. While we divide them up for academic clarity, microeconomics and macroeconomics are deeply, deeply intertwined. You literally cannot understand large macroeconomic developments without grasping the underlying microeconomic decisions. For example, if you want to understand national unemployment, which is a major macro issue, you absolutely have to understand the hiring decisions of individual companies, which is a micro issue. They address different questions, sure, but they're absolutely two sides of the exact same coin.
Section 3. The problem of scarcity, the core economic dilemma.
Let's examine the primary engine that drives all economic study, and quite frankly, all human decision-making: scarcity. It's the inescapable reality of limited resources. Simply put, society just cannot produce all the goods and services that people wish to have. Scarcity boils down to a constant, never-ending clash between two elements: our practically limitless human wants and the very limited means we have to actually fulfill those wants. Because of this, not every member of society can enjoy the highest standard of living, and, well, not every family can fulfill all their desires.
Let's make this highly practical. Imagine poor weather causes national corn crops to fail. This immediately results in a scarcity of food and even a scarcity of ethanol for transportation. Now think about the impact on families who rely on corn as a daily staple. The immediate, tangible effect is that prices spike. A family's budget is suddenly strained. They actually have to sit down and decide what other groceries they can no longer afford just to buy the corn they need to survive. So a microeconomic event, the weather, has forced a highly stressful microeconomic decision right at the dinner table.
Section 4. Trade-offs and opportunity costs, the mechanics of choice. Because of that unavoidable scarcity we just discussed, we are forced to make decisions. Economists identify a few core principles of how people do this. First, people face trade-offs. Second, the true cost of something is what you give up to get it. Third, rational people think at the margin, meaning they evaluate the next incremental step. And fourth, people respond to incentives. For right now, the crucial point we're going to focus on is those first two concepts, the idea that every single choice has an inherent cost attached to it because of trade-offs.
Think about what a trade-off actually feels like in real life. It's a lot like balancing on a tightrope. On one side, you have family. On the other, you have work. And you're trying to balance success right in the middle. A trade-off means choosing one option and giving up another. It usually means foregoing a specific benefit just to achieve an alternative goal. Let's say you want to work 80 hours a week to advance your career. The trade-off? Less time with your family. You want more family time? The trade-off might be slower career advancement. You simply cannot have 100% of both because your time, just like your money, is a scarce resource.
And this leads us to one of the most powerful concepts in all of economics, opportunity cost. Opportunity cost is precisely defined as the benefit that an individual might have gained by choosing the next best alternative. Notice something important there? It doesn't say the money you spent. It is the actual value of the next best alternative you sacrificed. It's what you lost out on because you made the choice you did. This concept is the absolute bedrock of economic reasoning.
Imagine you are standing in front of two doors, door A and door B. You can only open one. If you choose door A, your opportunity cost is whatever was hiding behind door B. It's that simple, but also that profound. Every single open door in life necessarily closes another door. When individuals make decisions, they face trade-offs among alternative goals, and the true cost of any action is measured purely in terms of those foregone opportunities.
To really cement this, let's compare opportunity cost at both the micro and macro levels. At the individual level, suppose you choose to attend college. The opportunity cost isn't just the tuition money you handed over. No, the true opportunity cost is what you could have bought with that tuition money, plus the full-time income you lost out on by sitting in a classroom instead of working for those 4 years. Now consider the macro level. Say a government decides to fund a war on terrorism. The opportunity cost of that massive budget allocation is the healthcare or education infrastructure that they now can no longer afford to build. The mechanics of choice are exactly the same, whether you're a single college student or a global superpower.
Which brings us to the end of our explainer today. We've covered the breadth of economics, zoomed in on microeconomics, and unpacked the mechanics of scarcity and choice. But before we wrap up, I want to leave you with a question to test this theory in your own life right now. Thinking about the very next decision you make today, whether it's what to eat for lunch, whether to study or watch a show, or what to buy at the store. What is your true opportunity cost? What is the invisible, next best alternative that you are sacrificing? Start looking for those hidden costs in your daily life, and you'll begin to see the world exactly like an economist. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep questioning those choices.